After one of the most shocking shocks in reality TV history, viewers are clutching their pearls and the internet is ablaze. When word spread that Chantel's long-kept secret had finally leaked and that the leak wasn't a quiet one, whispers soon became shouts. Rumor has it that Jackie herself spilled the pregnant tea, and the consequences were nothing short of cataclysmic. Live viewers recount an incident that changed the tone of the whole discussion. For a moment, it was informal conversation. Then, with everyone gaping, Jackie leaned in and dropped a bomb. Never one to keep her feelings to herself, Evelyn, her outburst sent shockwaves around the set and beyond as her emotions allegedly exploded in rage. Fans claim that the intense conversation seemed too real to be manufactured, but it wasn't simply a confrontation. Within minutes, social media was in full swing. Fans were shocked to see that Chantel's private issue was suddenly widely known as hashtags started to spread. But why Jackie said it is still the most important issue? And why had Evelyn reacted so angrily? Was this disclosure premeditated? Or was it the result of a mistake motivated by ulterior intentions? The whole room froze as Jackie spoke that startling statement. The discussion ended in the middle of a phrase. The ensuing hush was almost intolerable as laughter died in throats. Even the cameras seemed to pause because of the intense stress. Chantel's lips parted in shock and her face became white. Her thoughts were racing, but she was unable to find the right words. Evelyn caught everyone's attention. It responded immediately and ferociously. As though to physically control the anger that was growing inside of her, Evelyn sat back in her chair and gripped her arms hard. Her gaze was like daggers, fixed on Jackie. Her voice was shrill enough to cut through the dense air as she shouted, "Are you kidding me right now? Did you really just say that out loud?" Jackie shrugged casually, inclined her head and unfazed. "I'm only stating what has previously been said. I did not fabricate it. For weeks, people have been discussing it in whispers. I just felt it was time to quit acting as if no one was aware." That casual demeanor threw everyone off balance. Brandy moved around in her chair, agitated and obviously uneasy. She whispered to herself. However, every phrase was captured by the microphones. "It's going to become nasty." Chantel's surprise soon gave way to rage. She struggled to control her voice, but every sentence was laced with passion. "Jackie, you had no right. It was confidential. It wasn't your place to make headlines like that. It was my business." Her voice shook with anger and embarrassment. However, Evelyn had little interest in pity. With a start, she sprang up and slammed her fist so hard on the table that her glasses shook. "Private. You have been lying to all of us, so stop standing here and talking about private. Do you have any idea how I look like this? How many times did you keep this from me after we sat down and discussed everything?" With each syllable, her voice became louder until it reverberated off the walls. Later, viewers of this scene couldn't help but notice Evelyn's strange reaction. Angaretta wasn't the only one affected. It seemed as if Chantel's secret wasn't only Chantel's to carry. She also had some kind of connection to Evelyn. Online, rumors spread like wildfire. Jackie, on the other hand, kept prodding the fire. "Look, I'm not here to instigate conflict, but whether you like it or not, the truth will eventually out. In all honesty, I believe that people should be aware of the true situation." Those words set Brandy on fire. Snapped at last. "People have a right to know. Jackie, when did you become the rescuer of honesty? You thrive on turmoil. After dropping bombs, you stand back and see the aftermath. You don't have to deal with the debris. It's what you thrive on." As they shouted, the room erupted in a cacophonous chorus of gasps, insults, and accusations. As Evelyn kept pacing the floor like a storm about to blow, Chantel hid her face in her hands and let the tears fall quietly down her cheeks. According to reports, when Chantel eventually spoke again, the yelling match overpowered the producer's attempts to intervene. She spoke softly, shakily, and shamefully. "All of you have made this into a circus. This is not how I expected it to turn out." However, her remarks were lost in the din of indignation. Evelyn turned and pointed at her with a finger. "Don't risk being the victim in this situation. You want us to feel sorry for you after lying to everyone in this room?" Every moment was recorded by the cameras, and within hours, videos started to appear online. Hashtags took social media by storm. Global trends included "Our Team See Hell," "Our Jackie Exposed," and "Our Evelyn Outraged." Supporters were split. Chantel was seen by some as a victim of Jackie's careless rumors, while some thought she had been exposed concealing something too significant to overlook. Things backstage became much more repulsive. Refusing to see or talk to anybody, Chantel shut herself in her dressing room. As Brandy followed in vain, attempting to soothe her, Evelyn sprinted along the corridor, her voice booming as she shouted about shame and treachery. The internet analyzed every second of the video after Jackie, who never backs down, was heard telling a producer, "I just said what needed to be said." If they can't handle the truth, that's their problem. In order to see Chantel's eyes flash with fright, fans slowed down the footage. Evelyn's expression was a barely contained rage. Jackie's smile was smugly. Theories about who was acting as if they were surprised and who really knew the truth began to surface in forums and comment sections. Evelyn's response was too intense for many to ignore. She was overreacting, according to others, and her anger was over something far more personal than Chantel's secret. Others conjectured that Chantel's leak may have threatened to include Evelyn in the controversy, and that she might have had her own motivations for fearing the truth would be revealed. With each hour, two hypotheses became more ludicrous. Did Brandy really know everything? Along keeping Chantel safe in silence until Jackie tore the secret's lid off? What made Jackie choose to make it public now? Was honesty the main concern? Or was it simply another ruse to attract attention and create a commotion for the sake of ratings? The one consensus among fans throughout it all was that the women's trust had been irreparably damaged. In an instant, years of friendships, confiding, and bonding had fallen apart. Chantel's secret was not the only thing that was betrayed. Realizing that nothing in their environment was secure from exposure was the main theme. Viewers were unable to turn away as they rewatched the episode. It was the epitome of reality TV. The unfiltered emotions, the sensation of betrayal, the unanswered questions. She was no longer the only one with Chantel's secret. It revealed the cracks that had always existed and were waiting for the ideal opportunity to burst out, rupturing the thin shell that held this group together. Fans were left wondering how Chantel would recover and what other, more profound truths would yet be revealed as the program came to a close. Jackie's admission had repercussions that extended beyond that room. Like wildfire, it spread across their community before becoming viral online for millions of others to analyze. Hours later, fans had captured the most dramatic scenes and made them into postings that went viral. Some were unable to stop playing back the moment Chantel's face fell, while others were only able to concentrate on Evelyn's outburst of wrath. Producers rushed to control the repercussions behind the scenes. They were aware that drama made for excellent TV, but this blow-up was more intense than planned mayhem. This place had an authenticity that was impossible to fake. The breakdown of confidence in real time was more than simply an argument. Think about how this looks. Think about how the audience will see you, a producer who was attempting to soothe Evelyn was heard saying, but Evelyn was too enraged to give optics any thought. "She told me a falsehood," Evelyn retorted, her voice shaking with rage. "How many times did she keep something like this a secret while I sat there supporting her and offering advice? I seem foolish." She paced like an animal in a cage and slapped her bag down on the counter. Brandy lingered, her voice much more circumspect. "Eve, I understand your anger, but perhaps it's more complicated than that. You have no idea what she's dealing with." However, Evelyn turned around, her eyes flaming. "Don't stand up for her." Not after this. Brandy, who was torn between allegiance to both ladies, was stunned by such severe reaction. Her quiet at that precise time spoke a lot. Chantel, however, was still imprisoned. She was sitting on the floor, knees drawn to her chest, looking blankly at the wall, according to others who were there. She ignored the constant buzzing of texts on her phone. She was caught up in her own tempest of betrayal and shame, conscious that her most private secret was suddenly being examined by everyone on the planet. Jackie seemed impervious to the mayhem she had caused, however. She laughed at the memes that were already becoming viral as she browsed through her phone while relaxing in the corridor. She responded coolly when another cast member challenged her off camera. "Nothing that wasn't already being whispered was spoken by me. I spoke it out just now." Her reputation as vicious and unrepentant was cemented when the statement went viral online. As merciless and unrepentant, the response on the internet was unrelenting. Fan sites were ablaze with conjecture. Jackie was accused of intentionally attempting to damage Chantel's reputation out of jealousy. Others said that by concealing something so enormous, Chantel had betrayed everyone. Evelyn's indignation was quite reasonable, it was said. The fan community became divided into groups with hashtags fighting for control. Both sides believed they were telling the truth. Amidst all of this chaos, rumors started to circulate over who may have first given Jackie the information. She may have found it on her own or been supplied the information by someone close to Chantel. There were theories that Brandy could have made a mistake, or that someone in the family might have murmured something inappropriately. The ambiguity just fueled the flames. Evelyn's emotional response was the subject of one especially contentious internet discussion. Supporters focused on her expression, pointing out that it was more than simply shock or rage. Rather, it was something more profound, even desperate. Why is Evelyn acting like she's the one betrayed? Why does she seem more hurt than anyone else? Was one of the many questions that received a ton of comments. There was conjecture that Evelyn had more to lose than she was admitting. Days later, when photographers saw Evelyn leaving a restaurant abruptly after what seemed to be a heated exchange with an unidentified male, that hypothesis gained traction. More speculations were sparked when the pictures went viral. Did this have anything to do with Chantel's secret? Had Jackie's disclosure set off a series of events that may potentially expose many individuals? Brandy, who was caught in the midst, also began to face criticism. When her voice may have helped diffuse the tension, fans criticized her of playing it safe, refusing to take sides, and being too silent. In a brief video, she finally replied, her face strained and exhausted. "You people have no idea how difficult this is. It's not a straightforward argument. People's lives and families are at stake. I can't just choose a side online. To us, this is not a game." However, her efforts to quell the tempest only made matters worse. Her comments were twisted into new hypotheses by fans who questioned her true meaning and analyzed every sentence. There was no denying Chantel's emotional toll. According to insiders, she canceled appearances, stopped attending group functions, and even contemplated quitting the program entirely. She feels besieged, according to one insider who also said, "It's like the people she trusted most turned their backs on her when she needed them the most." Chantel had been getting a ton of messages from admirers, some of which were encouraging but many of which were mean and made fun of her predicament. However, the most startling turn of events occurred when a private voicemail was discovered. Online, a voice purportedly belonging to Chantel's was heard on the tape discussing her. Anxieties about the truth being revealed in hushed tones. The harm was imminent even though it was impossible to verify the voicemail's veracity. Fans were demanding answers, blaming others, and conjecturing endlessly about what further may be concealed, which rekindled the craze. Tensions amongst the ladies reached a breaking point due to the pressure cooker situation. The mood was intolerable when they were eventually reunited for a planned tape. Even the crew acknowledged that they had never seen such negative energy, and nobody wanted to be in the same room. Every cold gaze and every passive-aggressive remark was captured on camera. Each sharp pause, a dot. Jackie leaned into her position as the catalyst once again. She shattered the hush with a sardonic smirk. "So, will we discuss the elephant in the room, or will everyone simply sit here and act as if it doesn't exist?" "You're loving this, aren't you? You're loving tearing us apart." Evelyn freaked out right away, shrieking across the table. Jackie didn't even dispute it. Instead, she said, "I'm loving the truth being out. If that makes you angry, then it's not me." Producers had to physically separate them since the altercation suddenly got out of hand. Chantel, worried that the yelling might escalate into something more, sobbed once more while sitting calmly. "This isn't what I wanted. I never wanted this," she said in a tremulous murmur, but her words were drowned out by the confusion. The storm was not subdued by the quiet that followed Chantel's shaky remarks. If anything, it increased the level of intolerable tension in the room. Unsure of whether to continue rolling or stop the cameras, the team looked at each other anxiously. But the ladies were so engrossed in their feelings that they hardly paid attention to the cameras any longer. It wasn't simply television that followed. The fallout was unedited and direct. At last, Evelyn sagged back into her chair, still upright. She struggled to steady her glass of water with trembling hands. She still had fury in her eyes, but it was mingled with something more serious, almost hopeless. "I just can't believe you, Chantel," she mumbled under her breath, her words hanging in the air like smoke. Chantel's voice broke as she cleaned her face. "You think I chose to live this way, lying and hiding? I didn't want any of you. Do you think this is simple for me? Protect yourself or protect the man involved. Because, let's face it, you weren't keeping this quiet for your own peace of mind. You were covering for someone, weren't you?" The implication sent a ripple through the room. Evelyn's head shot up, her eyes narrowed. Brandy froze, her lips parted as if she wanted to intervene but couldn't find the words. "Stop it, Jackie." Dragged into it. I was trying to protect myself. Jackie tilted her head. Her smirk reappearance returned. You don't know what you're talking about, Chantel snapped, her voice sharper now, rising from her earlier tears. Oh, but I do, Jackie replied smoothly. And I think everyone here deserves to know who this mystery man really is. The crew gasped, and even some of the cast shifted nervously as everyone braced themselves for the possibility of yet another explosive revelation. Chantel shook her head violently, her voice urgent. Don't you dare. Don't say his name. Fans who later watched the clips would fixate on that moment, analyzing Chantel's body language and debating endlessly who she might be referring to. Online detectives created entire threads, each theory more scandalous than the last dot in the room. Brandy finally attempted to intervene, her tone begging, "Can we stop?" This isn't helping. Nothing will be resolved by dragging more people into this. It will simply exacerbate the situation. But Evelyn wasn't prepared to let it go, so she leaned closer and said, Chantel, just answer me one question. For what duration have you been concealing this? For what duration have you been deceiving us? Chantel took a deep breath. Her quiet spoke more than words could. Evelyn's hand smacked into the table. I had that notion. The altercation continued for the next several days. Video of Evelyn screaming outside the studio, telling anybody who would listen that this was the worst betrayal and that she was done with Chantel, was released. Her remarks were well known, swiftly on social media, depicting a broken bond that supporters had previously thought was impenetrable. Meanwhile, Brandy seemed to be caught in the midst. She was immobilized by her devotion to both women, and it showed. She said in another interview, I feel like no matter what I say, I'll be blamed. I can't win here. I love them both, but the way this went down, I don't know how we come back from this. As the ladies struggled with their feelings, fans made a show out of the situation. For days, hashtags such as #HellSecret and Jackie's bombshell were popular. While some memes praised Chantel, others made fun of her crying face, Jackie's boldness. Edits created by fans exaggerated the altercation and put it to dramatic music, resulting in viral material that reached a wider audience than just the main fan base. However, behind the amusement, there were grave repercussions. There were rumors that sponsors were reevaluating their collaborations, concerned that the show's reputation was being damaged by the incident. According to one source, the network no longer knows how to govern what once was a ratings goldmine and is now turning into a problem. Meanwhile, rumors regarding the alleged father became more widespread. There were many names mentioned, each more startling than the others. According to one story, Chantel was related to a famous athlete, another to a well-known businessman, while a third recommended a member of their own social network. The craze persisted despite the fact that none of the claims could be confirmed. Chantel was torn by the uncertainty. She seldom slept, according to those close to her, since she was always worried about what might spill next. She was afraid that no amount of damage control could reverse the uncontrollable spiral of her private life. But Jackie flourished in the midst of the mayhem. Her confidence appeared to grow with each subsequent headline. She smiled when the presenter asked her about the incident during a late-night interview. Look, she continued, I'm simply honest at the end of the day, even if some may label me untidy or theatrical. In one confessional, Evelyn looked directly into the camera and said, If you think this is just about a pregnancy, you're not paying attention. The audience erupted in applause, solidifying her as either a villain or a hero, depending on who you asked. However, Evelyn's anger took on a different tone, turning from outrage to suspicion, and she started dropping clues that Chantel's secret might be even more complicated than anyone realized. There's more, much more. Backstage tensions were still unbearable, and producers had to arrange separate filming sessions to avoid more blow-ups. Crew members whispered about how difficult it had become to keep everyone in the same room, and those words sent fans into a tailspin of speculation once more. What else could Evelyn be referring to? Was there another betrayal? Another hidden connection? Walking on eggshells. You never know who's going to blow up next, one employee said. Yet, the most dramatic moment came not from Jackie, not from Evelyn, but from Chantel herself. Cornered. During an off-camera break, she lashed out in a way no one expected. Pointing at Jackie, she screamed, You think you've wrecked me? Do you believe you have won? I have receipts too, so just wait. And everyone will see your true self when I'm finished. For the first time, there was silence in the room. Jackie's smirk faltered. The tension following Chantel's angry outburst was unlike anything the cast or crew had ever experienced before. The threat of receipts hung over them like a thundercloud, promising more destruction. Everyone stared at her, stunned into silence. Even Jackie, who is usually quick with a sharp remark, seemed momentarily caught off guard. And then Jackie regained her composure, brushing a strand of hair from her face and smirking once more. "Oh, really? Receipts, please. If you had anything on me, you would have used it long ago." The weight of her words sent a ripple of whispers through the room, and Evelyn leaned in, her eyes darting between them, curiosity fighting with her lingering anger. "Don't try to bluff your way out of this," Chantel said, her chest heaving as she took a shaky breath. "You think you're untouchable, Jackie, but you're not. I've seen the messages. I've heard the calls. I know what you've been hiding. And if you push me one more time, I won't hold back. Can we stop tearing each other apart? This is going too far. Whatever secrets you think you're holding, Chantel, maybe some things are better left unsaid." But the damage was already done. Chantel's warning had opened another door, and no one was willing to let it close. "What messages? What calls? Chantel, what are you saying?" Brandy, ever the peacemaker, begged. Online, videos of Chantel's dramatic threat went viral, with fans analyzing every word and forums ablaze with theories. Did Jackie have an affair of her own? Was she hiding something more significant than Chantel's pregnancy? Or was Chantel feigning to deflect attention? All right, the speculation was unending, and the hysteria only intensified with every hour that went by. Jackie, determined to keep the story from slipping away, went on the attack. "She's trying to play the victim," Jackie said in a heated interview, accusing Chantel of distorting the facts in order to get sympathy. But all she's doing is hurting herself more. "Threats that don't mean anything will not frighten me." Her bold stance earned applause from some fans, but fueled outrage from others who felt she was deflecting too much. Meanwhile, Evelyn's fury simmered into suspicion. She began piecing together fragments of conversations, moments when Jackie had been too quick to accuse, too eager to expose Chantel. During one particularly tense confessional, Evelyn looked directly into the camera and whispered, "What if Jackie isn't as innocent as she wants us to think? What if she has been concealing her own scandal all along?" Bry's role in the chaos became even more complicated after those words ignited a fire online. Fans demanded answers, and social media was inundated with hashtags like #RJackieSecret and #CL's receipts. Previously viewed as the neutral party, Bry now found herself caught in the crossfire, and both Chantel and Jackie privately reached out to her in an attempt to persuade her to support them. Chantel begged Brandy for support in a tearful voice, saying, "You know me, you know my heart. Please don't let her twist this." Another audio clip showed Jackie laughing with Brandy, saying, "If you're smart, you'll stick with me." Chant tells a sinking ship. The leaked recordings only made matters worse, with some fans accusing Brandy of playing both sides and others claiming she was under unfair pressure. The once stable foundation of their friendship group now appeared irreparably broken, with the breaking point occurring during a live reunion special featuring all 4 women. The host turned to Chantel first, saying, "The fans have one question for you. Are you ready to finally tell the truth?" Chantel's lips quivered, fingers clasped tightly in her lap, and after a lengthy silence, she whispered, "Yes, but not as everyone believes." The audience gasped, though many had already suspected this, and the confirmation still came with emotional weight. Jackie jumped in before anyone could react. "I never wanted this to be a circus. I was scared. I was ashamed, but I wasn't lying to hurt anyone. The truth is I'm pregnant. I was terrified because I didn't know how to tell the people closest to me." She raised her head, tears streaming down her face. Evelyn slammed her hand on the couch and said, "You see, still can't tell the truth. We're sitting here pouring our hearts out and she's still hiding. And who's the father, Chantel? Are you ready to share that too?" The room fell silent as everyone's eyes turned to Chantel. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her silence was louder than any confession. The reunion was rocked by Chantel's cry, I can't say it yet." "It's too dangerous." What did she mean by that? Fans conjectured wildly, wondering if the father was married, powerful, or connected to someone in their circle. Theories exploded online, each one more shocking than the last, until Brandy finally broke her silence in a stunning twist. The audience gasped. Jackie's face went pale, and for the first time, her smirk was erased. "What are you talking about?" she said, turning to the audience. If you all think Chantel is the only one with secrets, you have no idea. Jackie has been pointing fingers this whole time, but she's not innocent either. You've been stirring the pot to divert attention from yourself, but I know what you've done, she said, her voice trembling, but her certainty unmistakable. And if you don't back down, I'll make sure everyone else knows too. The hosts frantically tried to regain control, but it was too late. The reunion had turned into a heated argument, and chants erupted from the audience demanding the truth. The women yelled at each other, accusations flying back and forth, and security intervened to keep them apart. By the time the cameras stopped, nothing had been settled. Chantel's pregnancy was confirmed, but the father was still a mystery. Potential secrets hung over her. Bry's credibility was being questioned. Evelyn's trust had been irreparably damaged, and fans were left more divided. The reunion clips went viral. Memes took over social media, and fan forums were overrun with debates. The show was no longer just a reality show. People were living inside its drama, with each twist stoking the flames of obsession. The once inseparable family was now irreparably broken. But for the network, it was a ratings goldmine, and for the fans, it was the kind of chaos they couldn't escape. The storm of revelations has left everyone shaken. Although Jackie's bold accusations may have brought Chantel's pregnancy to the public's attention, Bry's shocking warning on stage revealed that her own secrets may be even darker than what she has worked so hard to expose. Evelyn, who started this journey feeling betrayed and angry, now finds herself lost in a maze of lies, unsure of who to believe or where the truth truly lies. This chaos has not only caused division among the women, but has also sparked a frenzy among fans worldwide, with people taking sides, defending their favorites, and demanding answers. Every leaked clip, whispered rumor, confession, and confession feeds the fire, keeping the world on the edge of our seats to see what happens next. Will Chantel finally tell us who her baby's father is, or will the truth be buried under layers of silence and fear? Will Jackie have to face her own hidden scandal, or will she be able to keep control of the story? Will Bry's threat lead to another shocking twist that reveals more than anyone could have imagined? Will Evelyn ever be able to rebuild trust after being drawn into a web this deep? The only way to find out is to stay locked in. Keep an eye on things because the fallout is just getting started, and the falsehoods are becoming bolder. Don't blink. And don't stop asking questions. It might be the next revelation. That makes all the difference.